What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to an FPL-ish kind of video. It's a 100k Q&A. Do you know why we can do this? Because we have 100,000 subscribers on this channel, which is absolutely insane. I still can't believe that there's a number that high on a channel that I have created. And I know everybody says this when they hit milestones and stuff, but I am genuinely thankful to everybody that supported me along the way. There's still people that watch now, that watch right at the start. And I probably said that at 10,000 subscribers, 5,000, 25,000, 50,000. And I never really thought I could get to this point until maybe the start of this season or post-lockdown when the content started churning out again. I looked at the numbers and thought it is possible by the end of the season. I didn't think we'd get it kind of 2 days past game week 1. So thanks very much for signing up. I genuinely can't believe that people still watch me. It's a little bit weird. I appreciate that I'm kind of consistent and stuff, which is nice for YouTube. But yeah, I still don't quite get it. But I do really appreciate it. So in this video, it's a Q&A. So this is not going to be about Game Week 2, Game Week 3, any kind of FPL players outside of maybe favourite FPL players and stuff like that. I put out a comment on the community tab in YouTube and a tweet on Twitter as well, asking for your questions. And this is basically what's going to be it. It's going to be me sat in front of this screen, nothing fancy, just rambling on. So if it's not the kind of video you want to watch, obviously make sure you turn off now. It's not the kind of video that I usually do on this channel. It's not the kind of video that you should expect to see on this channel very much until we hit 250,000 maybe. But yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I don't do many kind of channel updates and here's what's coming next videos. It's FPL content, FPL content. And that's basically what it's going to be after this video. But I thought I'd do one this week because there was no video going out on Friday. Anyway, and I've basically split this into how many sections? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sections. So YouTube, the story from 0 to 100k, that's actually quite a short bit. FPL, general football, my personal life, there's a few personal questions, where I live and stuff like that. And then some random rubbish, you could say, at the end. All right, so that's kind of how I'm going to put it through. And if I can work out how to change the bar at the bottom, the timeline, into the different sections, I will do that. Otherwise, this will probably be like an hour long or something crazy. I'm going to try and record it in one take and just go through the questions one by one. So let's start off with YouTube. What got me started? So I've talked about this before, and some of this would have been mentioned on other videos. So if you've heard it before, I apologise. But there's obviously a lot of new subscribers this season. And I saw that in some of the questions. I don't know this because I've only just been around, etc. So what got me started on YouTube? I would say, or maybe not now, but I've had an obsession with YouTube. I use it a lot, as do millions of people around the world. And I always wanted my own my own YouTube channel, right? So I've got another YouTube channel that's based around gaming that I started years ago. I only put like 6 or 7 videos up and never used it again. So I've always something I wanted to do. And basically, the night that I started this channel, or at least the night that I uploaded my first FPL video, because this channel's been live since like 2010, I think. But FPL only started in 2017, I believe, or 2016. I wanted to do a gaming stream, and I couldn't figure it out, or my computer wasn't powerful enough or something. And I downloaded OBS, which is the program that I use to record and to stream. And I suddenly realised I could just talk about FPL. And so I'm a big, I've been a big member of the community on Fantasy Football Scout for like 10 years. So people knew me then, I was posting a lot. So I just posted a link and said, I'm chatting FPL. It was like 12:30 or 1:30 at night or something like that. And I had about 45 viewers the first night. Because back then there was some people doing FPL YouTube, but not a huge amount. And there certainly wasn't anyone live streaming regularly. So I was one of the first to do that, which is probably what had helped me as well at the start. There's about 40 to 50 people watching, which was ridiculous. So I came off, told my partner the next day, I was like, I'm going to do it again. And it just started from there, basically. I just kept doing it. People kept coming back. So I kept doing it. And to be honest, in some ways, it's like an addiction to watch, or it's like an obsession more than an addiction, I suppose, although the two probably cross over quite a bit, into watching those numbers grow. So now I've hit 100k, can I get to 200k? And after a while, you start to believe, it's still weird when it happens, but you just start to believe that it can get bigger if you're consistent and you keep improving. Because if you go back, and I've said this so many times, go back and watch my first videos. The ones I do now are so much better. There'll still be people that think they're not very good or I'm not very good, and that's fine. But there's no doubt they've improved. So that's how I got started. What were my original intentions? Nothing really. Just to put out some FPL content and see if people like it. That was about it. And then the story of my first video, like I said, it's just a live stream. I wanted to play games. I couldn't get it to work, so I thought I'd chat about FPL, because at the end of the day, you should probably do what you know, right? And I played FPL a long time at that point. in terms of all the questions about editing and what software and stuff I use, I did a video over on my second kind of FPL channel called, it was like a FPL content creation Q&A. I don't really want to get into it. It's pretty boring, to be honest. I don't do anything major. And there's so many tutorials on YouTube if you want to go and watch them. People are asking me how I do like fast, get videos out fast and stuff like that. At the end of the day, it's always FPL, right? And it's always on my mind. I'm always researching it. It's my day job, which I'll come on to later on. And so I always have stats and players and fixtures in the back of my mind. So when I do a video, most of it, obviously I split some of it into sections. That's where you see the transition to the black screen with the logo and then back to the next bit. Pretty much, they're always done in one take. You'll see a lot of people, they'll do, not FPL, but in general, you'll have a jump cut. So they'll say something, then they'll edit. So it's cut straight after they say it and then cut just before they say something else. That's a jump cut, I think. Could have that wrong. I don't usually do that. I just record it in one take, which is what I'm aiming to do here. I might stop a couple of times, just have some water or something like that. But ultimately, I can deliver FPL stuff well. I can just do it well. I don't like bigging myself up, but I can. I can just talk over and over again without having to keep stopping or keep looking at stuff or thinking about what I'm going to say. It just comes out like now. Now, sometimes that obviously makes it into a bit of a ramble. Sometimes it is better to be clear and concise. But that's just how my channel is. And if people don't like it, there's plenty of other channels to go and watch. Like, it's not like if you don't like it, get out of here. It's just if you prefer a different way of receiving your content. There are so many other ways to get your FPL content. I do mine how I want to do it. And if people like it, great. And the same thing for like, I've practiced loads. My delivery is pretty good now. I've got templates for the videos and stuff like that. I don't alter things too much. Same with thumbnails. So it all just makes it quicker and quicker. The more you do it, basically. It definitely wasn't this quick when I started. Let's just say that. Where did the name come from? Let's Talk FPL. Basically, I figured that I needed an FPL name. And I couldn't think of anything good, and I got stuck with Let's Talk FPL. And I've turned it's a brand now, right? It's so big. 100,000 is a pretty big, at least to me, it's a very big deal. And it's not something you just want to go and change when people know the name. I don't particularly like it that much, but whatever. I'm kind of stuck with it now. For example, I have a football channel called This Is Football, which I actually quite like the name of. But it'd be nice to do something a bit more personal to me. I don't want to do Andy Talks Football, but something like that. And I cannot think of a name, and I'm awful for that. So Let's Talk FPL, I'm never going to change it. It's in now, got the logo, got the brand, job done. How long to hit 200,000 subscribers? Who knows? Probably 2 more seasons, I'd say. Maybe the start of the 2021, the 2022-23 season potentially. But it's a big number. No one else is even there yet. So let's see how FPL continues to grow. Was I nervous about posting my first YouTube video? It's hard to remember back then, to be honest. But I don't think I was particularly nervous. I mean, maybe I was in the way I delivered the content. Like, my delivery wasn't as good. And also, it's worth noting, before I did my first YouTube video, I'd been on the Scoutcast on Fantasy Football Scout for about 6 months or so, I think. Maybe even a year at that point. So I had been on camera before. Didn't mean I was, especially for my own live streams. That's probably where I was most nervous going on. And the person that asked me, they said, do I get nervous before live streams now? Not at all. I'll tell you why. Because I've never pretended to be an expert. Look, okay, I know more than your average FPL player, probably not the people watching this, but your average FPL player, the people that just play casually in the office. I do know more, and I'm not saying I'm an expert. I know people get so hung up on that word, but I don't pretend to be that. If I'm in a stream and I don't know the answer, I'll either look it up, say I don't know, let me check something, or I don't know, does anyone in the chat know? I'm not, and that's why I don't get nervous, because if I don't know the answer, I'll just say it. And maybe even I'll just move on. No, don't know. I'll try and figure it out another time. Let's move on to the next topic. And obviously, it would be great if I could answer every single question, but it just can't happen. So I don't really get nervous now. And the chat's great. Like, the people, the community on this channel are brilliant. There's hardly any moderation needed in the live stream. So I don't get nervous at all. It's great. Stick it on, hit stream, get going. Compare life to when you started doing videos to the life now. And am I enjoying it? Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's given me a job in FPL. In personal life, it's better. I have more free time. I'm not commuting anymore. Like, it's amazing, to be honest. The amount of time I have is absolutely ridiculous. And that's all thanks to people that have subscribed, helped me show other people that I can build it, and that maybe I can do this as a job as well. So, yeah, it's been great. The story from 0 to 100k, did I ever think about stopping? Not really, to be honest. I mean, it does... maybe not now, just because of the no commutes and stuff. But back then, it was a huge time sink. And again, this isn't a sob story or anything like that, but there'd be times when I would get out the house at like 7:15, not get to work till 9 just because of other drop-offs and stuff like school runs, my missus having to be dropped off as well. Work 9 till 6, then go and do a pickup. I used to live about half an hour, but with traffic, more like 45 minutes to an hour away from my house. So I wouldn't get back till like 7, and then it was do the kids' homework or do the homework with the kid, with my son, then have dinner, and then sometimes I'd even go and do like a scout cast at like 8 or 9. And then I would record the stuff for my channel to make sure that it was out consistently. And even if I wasn't doing a Scoutcast, I wasn't recording my videos until like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, rendering them, uploading them. You know what my internet speed is like. And sometimes that was my day. Go to work, come home, do FPL stuff, then sleep. And sometimes it's still like that, but nowhere near as bad most of the time. But I never thought about stopping, not really. Because I enjoy it. Like I always say, if you want to do something, make sure you enjoy it. If you don't, that becomes a chore. And you'll never last. So I never thought about stopping, I don't think. Was it a difficult goal to reach? Absolutely. Like if you go and see the amount of videos I've had to put out, and also my style is a bit like people, there's bigger YouTubers than me, FPL TV, FPL Tips. Like their content is so good. Like there's such slick editing and all that stuff. And I think people are more drawn to that than maybe my stuff. So it's potentially taken a little bit longer to build up. It's taken me, nearly 4 years to get to 100,000. And I could go and do 4 years on another kind of channel and never hit 100,000. So I've been a bit lucky that people have enjoyed it and I've kind of built from there. But definitely a difficult goal to reach. And has this changed your life? Yeah, because now I do FPL as a job, which I'll come on to later as well. So it definitely has, yeah. It's opened up some opportunities. I'm hoping it will open up more in the future. It's made me way more confident as well. Like again, if you go and look at my first videos to now, I'm way more confident on camera. That was one of the other reasons I started streaming, by the way, and doing video content, because I wanted to do a community management, like in gaming, and I wanted to be comfortable on camera. And it's obviously gone the other way now, which I'm more than happy about. But yeah, it's probably made me more confident. And even stuff like joining the gym and that is probably because I've had something to take my mind off whatever's going on, like FPL, come and create content. I've joined the gym and that's got much better. And obviously, as you can see, I need to keep it up. But I am much better than where I started. So yeah, it has changed my life, I would say. In terms of FPL specifically, my first experience of FPL, basically, a guy that I don't really even talk to now, set up a league with a bunch of us that we used to go to school with. I was like, sure, I know more about football than you lot, as everyone does or thinks they do. And I was like, okay, I'll search for some FPL tips on Google. I found Fantasy Football Scout. And that was basically it. I've been posting on Fantasy Football Scout for like 10 years, ever since I started playing FPL. So that was kind of my first experience. I won that mini league. And then, yeah, the obsession kind of just grew from there. My top FPL moments, I'll be honest with you, right? I need to start writing this stuff down. I have such a bad memory for like long term about what's happened in FPL. So I just wrote down some stuff that kind of sprung to mind. So even like really short term, like Calvert-Lewin scoring in Game Week 1 this season is great because I got so much stick for talking about him. So for him to score straight away, and now he's had a price rise, brilliant. But further back from that, last year, Barnes, just before lockdown, 19 points. Antonio, 4 goals in one game, single game week, absolutely insane. So from last season, those two moments popped out. And then a couple of other moments, Alfie Mawson. So I brought him in for a hit. I got a bit of stick for bringing in a defender for a hit. And he went and volleyed against Leicester and scored. Now, I didn't keep a clean sheet, but I was still up on the hit. So Alfie Mawson banging in a volley for Swansea, I believe, against Leicester was great. And Peter Crouch, so anyone that's been around on the stream for a while, there was a time when I was really considering Peter Crouch, and I kind of got talked into it by the stream. And he was just a bench player, but I needed him for that week. And I played him, and I think he got 9 points. I feel like he got a goal and an assist. So that was a pretty good moment as well from FPL. And then someone asked me, favourite FPL player of all time, Suarez, I think, because he got 295 points without penalties. Absolutely insane. And he was a forward, so no points for clean sheets. He missed the first 6 games as well of the season. Like favourite FPL player, talking specifically about FPL, not as a person maybe, Suarez by a mile, I would say. And someone else asked the story of the players in my background, which I guess if you've not been around for very long, you won't get why all of them are up there. So just to give a quick few backstory. So Antonio's just up because 4 goals in one game week is just absolutely insane. And I loved owning him. He was low owned. That's brilliant. Atsu, this is like really early on when I started streaming. I basically had him in my team. Basically, you think now people have got Souček in their teams, right? Because he's only 5 million and he enables you to get better players elsewhere. Well, this is back when I started, probably 3 or 4 years ago now. I had Atsu in my team, and the reason for it, because he was only 5 million, I believe. I think he was 5. And I wanted other players in my team, so he was in as an enabler. But I got so much stick for doing that. And then he went and scored, then he got an assist. And it was just, it was a good stream memory because people, the original stream watchers, people who've been around a while will remember that. So that's why Atsu's there. With Baines, there's a guy in my stream chats, he's a mod, Adam. I think FPL Vinny, but I think he's in the streams as Adam. And he went to an Everton versus, I think it was Everton versus Burnley. And I was considering bringing in a defender, Baines or Coleman, I believe it was. And he sent me a team sheet. He said, I've seen the team sheet. Baines is playing. And so I went and got Baines in my team. And then the team sheet's come out and he's not playing. So I messaged him. I was like, what's going on? And he said they must have changed the team sheet to the point where he even went and got the team sheet that he had seen. And it did say Baines. But for whatever reason, that got changed. And he didn't play. And what happened then, because Adam's a journalist, he got a team sheet from the game, from Everton versus Burnley, and got it signed by Coleman and Baines and sent it to me. So like, I never had to go for it. Of course, it was just an unlucky mistake. Like, I wouldn't just take advice of someone who says they've got team sheets from just anyone. I knew that Adam was telling the truth. And so that's why Baines is there. McNeil is there, and this probably actually is one of my favourite FPL moments. Because last season I bench boosted in a single game week, and I had two Southampton defenders, one goalie, one defender, and the Burnley defender as well, and McNeil. And all three of the players, the defenders, the goalkeeper and 2 defenders, got 6 points each. And McNeil got 14 points in a single game week. And, by the way, he should have had another assist. It should have been 17 points, but FPL didn't give it. So that was a great moment. And then Raul Jimenez, was it now 2 seasons ago? Game week 5, I decided to wildcard. 2 of my key decisions in that wildcard were Jimenez and Doherty, back when they were very, very cheap. I think Doherty was 4.5 or 5 million. No, he must have been 4.5, I would say. Maybe 5 million. Very attacking, as we know. And Raul Jimenez was 5.5 million. And I had him in so early, and he just scored the whole season to the point where I created like a membership club on Twitter, and everyone anytime he scored, I would retweet that tweet and people would reply saying, yeah, I'm now a member, because they then had him in their teams scoring goals. So that's how the shirts came about. The hacked one is because last season, game week 6 or 7, my FPL account got hacked. They made like 200 transfers, really screwed my team over, and I had to use my wildcard to rectify it. So that's just a bit of a joke. Like, it happened, it was annoying, but I kind of got on with it. So yeah, that's the kind of FPL story, and that's the players in the background. Okay, so moving on to real football now, not that FPL rubbish. Quite a few questions came in. So one of them was, who's my favourite team, and then why are they my favourite team? So Man United is the team that I support. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm from Manchester. I'm from the southwest of England. It was drummed into me when I was really young, like around 2 or 3, I think I got my first shirt, and then like 4 or 5 was when I really started to love it. It was drummed into me by my uncle, like my mum and dad. Dad's just not interested in football at all. Like, he would, he'd get involved when I used to play and stuff like that. Always come and watch me and support me, but not really a football fan at all. Like, if I had it on TV, he might sit down and watch, but he never go out of his way to watch a game. And my mum was a Bristol City fan, but she didn't really go to games or anything, so she never really pushed that on to me. So my uncle used to push Man United. Funnily enough, he doesn't even like football anymore. He's more of a rugby person, but it's too late now. And I think some people say, like, why don't you change your team? Why don't you support your local team? But once it's kind of embedded in you, I don't really see how you do that. And let's not be around the bush. When I was that age, when I first started watching football and decided to support a team, Man United were very good. And I'm sure at that kind of age, when you're 4, 5, 6, you are probably heavily influenced. There's kids out in the street now in Ireland, where I live. They got Man City shirts on, right? They're influenced because Man City are good now. So I wouldn't say, like, I mean, you could call me a glory hunter. I mean, personally, I don't care what people think. And maybe I was when I was a kid, but I mean, I'm still watching now, still supporting, buying the shirts, watching on TV, all that kind of stuff. And we're not winning everything now. So it's just ingrained, right? So that's how it kind of happened. What's my first memory? The first time I can ever genuinely remember Man United playing is FA Cup final against Chelsea. I think it was 1994. But even back then, I supported them. I was like, what? 6, 7 maybe. And and I was just playing football in the garden with my mate, and we used to just come in periodically to watch it on a tiny screen, like this black and white screen in my kitchen, tiny screen, like this big probably. And yeah, just watched it on and off as I was playing football in the street. Because I think when you're that age, you're more interested in playing football than actually watching it. And that's the same for my son now. Like he's grown up a bit now, but yeah, he'd much rather play football than actually sit down and watch it with me. So yeah, that's it. Someone asked, what's the most memorable game, not including Man United? So I think for a club team, the one sometimes again I got a really bad memory, but the one that first struck out into my head was the Liverpool comeback, Istanbul, against AC Milan, Champions League. Like, that was just incredible, right? Not that I wanted for Liverpool to win or anything like that, but watching them come back was ridiculous. So that was an excellent game from like a Premier League team. Also, England, like I've got a lot of good memories from England because the good thing about watching England, I know people don't like it. Like, a lot of people prefer their club football, but I really enjoy national football, right? Like England, because that's the time when all your mates are all supporting the same team. They could be Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans. You're all supporting the same team. And I always make an effort. Like, even though I don't go back to England as much as I probably should, I always make an effort in the summer for Euros or World Cup to go back and watch a couple of games with. Sometimes I don't see some of those guys for like 2 years. They're not like necessarily my closest friends, like the guys I went to college and stuff with. But I will go and watch football with them. And I would have gone back this summer hadn't all this stuff in the world hadn't happened. And that would have been the first time I'd seen them since the World Cup. So England game's huge. The 5-1 against Germany, Michael Owen's goal against Argentina, that really sticks out. But also more recently, the Colombia game, that Pickford save, like actually going through on penalties, that was a huge, memorable game. That wasn't Man United. If I could have been at any football game in history of football, what would it be? England World Cup. Definitely. And then more of my football career. Now, do I play football? I don't. I got to be honest, I'm way too unfit. If you've watched this channel for a while, you know that I've done a lot in terms of losing weight and going to the gym and stuff, and I'm still trying to do that. I really need to push through the kind of... It's like without going into too much, it's like a barrier right now. I just can't get past where I am. I know no one needs to tell me how to do it. I know how you do it, what you need to eat, what you need to exercise, and all that kind of stuff. It's just actually doing it. I'm finding tough at the moment, but I really want to get down. I will be honest, I do miss playing football. Like, there was a time when I went to one of my own's birthdays in the last few years, and it was in like a function room, and they had like an indoor football it's like an indoor football club, but it has a function room. So obviously she was using the function room, but we actually went down and played football. It was like a five-a-side inside pitch. And even scoring goals, while a little bit tipsy, against family that had no place playing football either, it's just so good when you... The feeling when you score a goal is ridiculous, and I do miss that. So at one point I would love to get back to playing a bit of football, no matter what it is. I don't play now. Have I ever played? When I was younger I did, like 15, 16. I played in a team that was awful. We were like the whipping boys, basically. But there was one team that was much... So we used to lose like 10, 12, 15 nil at times. I've even lost 23 nil. But there was a team that we could beat like 17 nil. That's how bad they were. We got stuff, but we could really beat them. So imagine how much they got beat by other teams. So I did play. In terms of positions, I've played literally everywhere. Goalkeeper, right back, left back, centre back. The first game I ever played was left wing. And we were 5-0 down, first ever game for this new club. I took it around the keeper at 5-0 down, open goal, and I scuffed it wide, and I led down, and I cried, basically. I've told that story before, I think. So that's when I played left wing. Two memorable moments from when I was a kid. One, the team that we used to stuff all the time, I was in goal for one of those games, and at half-time it was like 10-0 or something, and I said, if we get a penalty, let me take it. And at that age, it was kind of like to take the mick. And obviously now, if my son did that, I'd be like, look, don't take the mick out of them. They're losing a lot. But I was a kid back then. And we got a penalty in the second half. They called me down. They're like, come on, Andy, come on. And I took it and I did scuff it, but I did score. So that was good. And I've also scored from inside my own half as well. We didn't have enough players. We were having to play with 7 against 11, by the way. They didn't cut their numbers. We just had to play them. Fair enough, I guess. And I was playing in midfield or defence thing, and I tried to smash the ball up from like inside my own half to our striker, because we're only playing with one striker. We didn't have enough players for 2, and he just lobbed the keeper. So they're 2 great moments. Position I played everywhere. In terms of personal life, so there's a few questions about this. So I live in Ireland. I'm from England, obviously. You can hopefully tell by the accent, but I live in Ireland. So these questions are a little bit... I've mixed them up a bit, but how did I end up in Ireland? So... basically, I used to work for Currys in England, hated it, would never want to go back to doing that kind of job again. And there was jobs going to EA in Ireland, in Galway. And one of my mates was already there that I used to work with in Currys. And I messaged him, I said, how have you got a job at EA? Not like how, that shouldn't be possible. It's just, how have you gone and got a job at EA? I didn't even know that was a thing. And he told me, and I applied, and I got the job. And that's why I moved to Ireland over 8 years ago. And that's the sole reason. I'm still here because family's here now and stuff like that. What's my day job? I'll talk about EA in a sec. My day job now is FPL. Apart from this channel, I also work for Fantasy Football Scout, managing their video content, basically. So this isn't my full-time job. And there was a few questions about that. Yeah, at what point did you decide to be a full-time YouTuber and rely on it financially? The reality is I can't rely on it financially right now. Ultimately, if I'm ever going to on this channel alone, I probably need Patreon would have to go up basically because that's like a buffer, that's like a safety net. You cannot rely on YouTube ad revenue; it's just too risky to kind of quit a job and do that. So I also work for Fantasy Football Scout, which is good. I quit my job at EA to do that last year, November. So it's not as many hours, but that means I can do this channel more, and it kind of suits me more because then I don't also have to take so much time out of my day to do this. Like I'm not spending every single evening doing FPL stuff. Sometimes I have to do that, but it's nowhere near as much as before. So my work-life balance, if I could switch off from FPL a bit, which that is a flaw of mine, my work-life balance is much better now. So yeah, that is my job now, FPL, Fantasy Football Scout, and then this is still kind of like the hobby on the side. Maybe at some point in the future I could take it further than that, but who knows? Like I said, Patreon, like increasing those numbers, putting more content there to kind of help people want to sign up to that. And of course, like I want to offer something without hiding everything behind a paywall. Like I do way more stuff now on this channel publicly than I used to. So I've kind of done, not only have I added stuff to Patreon, I've also added stuff to my YouTube channel as well. But that's ultimately where, if that got high enough, then maybe I could just say, yeah, okay, I can step back from Scout a little bit, do a little bit less maybe, whatever it might be, and do more Let's Talk FPL. Like I have ambitions of doing a second channel, like a football channel or something like that. Again, I've got one already, This Is Football, but I need to start doing regular content on that and probably think of a better name as well. So that is my full-time job, and that's how I ended up in Ireland, basically working for EA. What was my experience like for EA? It was amazing. I know what people's opinions of are EA. If you're a gamer, a lot of people dislike them for decisions that they've made, but in terms of working there, okay, I used to be a community manager for FIFA. That was interesting. Get a lot of hate messages and stuff like that. Not all the time, but you do get them time to time. But ultimately, my experience of working there was great. The people were great. The culture is great. It was well paid. You didn't take your work home all the time or anything like that. Sometimes I did, but it was more wanting to than having to. I got to meet people from all over the world. Interact with them. Even in Galway, there used to be people from Russia, France, Germany, Spain. I got to work with. So it was a really good experience. That people say that one of the questions is, if I wasn't doing FPL videos, what would I do? I'd tell you now, I'd still be working there. The only reason I left was to do something different, to give me a bit more time for this channel, and that was kind of just a decision and a risk. To be honest, it was a massive risk because it was well paid. In comparison to the type of job in other companies in Galway, for example, it's pretty well paid, and it was very stable. I've been there for 8 years. Okay, there's always a chance of you losing your job for whatever reason, cutbacks or anything like that, but I'd always got lucky and stayed. So my experience was good. I did a few different jobs. So when I first came over, I was a customer service representative, very fancy name, on Star Wars The Old Republic. So I don't know if anyone played that. It's like an MMO. So I had my own little droid. So I don't know if you've ever interacted with customer service on Star Wars The Old Republic, but I had my own droid name, K7Q1, and that was basically how I'd interact with people. So that was my first job. And then I moved on to... Did I do a job in between? I don't think so. I think I then went on to ERCR, which is like... It's basically customer relations. So you're kind of dealing with high-profile cases, maybe legal cases, or dealing with influencers or something like that. Like I've talked to Phil Jones on the phone before through that job. So I did that, and then I moved on to community. And basically, when I left, I was on the community team, and I was the community manager for the forums of FIFA. So not like the top dog community manager, the guy that you'd probably see more publicly, who would have been Gabe and like people like Corey. But I was managing the forums, not just for FIFA, but FIFA takes up so much time. You are basically just doing FIFA. So that was my job, and honestly, I wouldn't have left if it wasn't for getting a chance to do FPL for Scout, and also having more time to do my own stuff. That was really the reason why I left. But at some point, if I needed to, I'd happily go back if they would have me. I hope they would. I think I was always a pretty good worker, not too much trouble, always got on with my stuff, productive, all that good stuff. But yeah, at this point, I've got no intentions to do that. Favorite thing about living in Ireland? One, obviously I met my partner here, now my family's here, so that's a pretty cool thing about living in Ireland. Hot chicken rolls are amazing. Like, they're so simple, but you don't get all these delis everywhere in England. Right? In England you get a lot of pre-packed sandwiches. In Ireland you get a lot of delis where they're happy to make you a sandwich or a roll or whatever it might be. It's much better. Hot chicken roll, fantastic. Apart from hot chicken rolls, in terms of like I don't go out a lot or anything like that, go clubbing anymore or anything like that, I go to the pub that much. And obviously right now I don't do any of that. But I feel like the atmosphere in pubs is much nicer, especially when you're a bit older as well. In Ireland, they're like proper pubs rather than like bar. I feel like in England you get a lot of bars, which is nothing wrong with that. But you get like good old proper Irish pubs. Well, I tell you what I love, is how old I am now. I love going to an Irish bar and there's like trad music on, traditional Irish music. And everyone's just loving it. Everyone's having a good time. And I just love that. And I think the culture and stuff here, people always say this is what it's like living in Ireland, or these are common things because you live in Ireland. And half the things on the list are exactly the same as if you lived in the UK. So there are lots of similarities. But yeah, I think hot chicken rolls and general culture of people over are very friendly. And especially where I live now as well, not too far from Galway. That's pretty cool too. So I don't think I'm sure there's plenty of my favourite things for living on Ireland. And hot chicken rolls, so I've probably had one today. That's why that came up. If I think of anything else before I stop recording, I'll talk about that as well. Favourite place in Ireland outside of Galway? Probably Kerry, like Killarney. Been there a few times with my partner. That's where I proposed as well. Very nice place, very quiet. Well, mostly quiet apart from the tourists. We go a lot, like on Paddy's Day there. And you get obviously a lot of Americans come over and stuff like that. So it's quite busy because of the national park and stuff that's there. Like, it's so big that you don't see a huge amount of people there all the time. So yeah, probably Kerry. I keep coming back to this favourite thing about Ireland. There must be more than that. But I'll tell you what I don't like about Ireland, my bloody internet situation. But I won't bore you with that. And then there's some random stuff just to finish off. Favourite cheese? Someone asked me. I'm not really a big cheese person, but I guess a bit of Boursin or Boursin? I don't know. Or Brie would be good. Favourite childhood video games? I used to be a massive World of Warcraft player for years, so I always have to put that on the list. I think Final Fantasy VII was huge. I used to play that with my mates. I know you can't literally play it with your mates, but we used to take it in turns and stuff a lot. So probably Final Fantasy VII. SSX Tricky was amazing as well. I once had I had to send a VHS tape into a magazine to prove my high score for them to then put it in PlayStation. I think there was a couple of PlayStation magazines, but I think it was PlayStation magazine, like the official one or something like that. So I had to send off a VHS. So I loved SSX Tricky as well. And obviously like your standard Mario and things like that. Favourite drink on a night out? I mainly just try and stick to IPAs now. Just like them. I never used to like beer, but I do now. And obviously, as you'll know, bit of Disaronno too. Love that. In fact, when I hit 100,000 subscribers, that's what my missus bought me, a bottle of Disaronno to celebrate. Do I watch cricket? I used to, quite a lot actually. Mostly like England, not local stuff or anything. I once dropped a ball off Marcus Trescothick. So ball came to us. We were all sat down, me and my mates. They all got up. Right, they won't tell you the story like this, but they got up and ran out of the way basically. I thought when I was sat down, I was tall enough to catch it. So I just put my hands up in the air, but didn't get up. And it just went through my fingers. They've never let me live that down. So I once dropped a ball off Marcus Trescothick for Somerset. But yeah, I used to watch it quite a bit, especially like the Ashes and stuff. But I don't really watch... the problem with Test match cricket is it's so long, right? It's very hard to just drop in and out of. 2020 and stuff's alright, but I don't really watch it anymore. Chinese or Indian? If I'm going out and sitting down and eating in a restaurant, probably Indian. Favourite movie of all time? I'm not really much of a movie buff to have one favourite, but there's a few movies I've watched a lot of times, a lot, 20 plus probably, maybe 10, 15 plus. The Last Samurai, believe it or not. I don't know what it is about that film. I just love watching it. The Matrix, first one, and Goodfellas. They're the three that always stick out in my mind for that question. And I know The Last Samurai is probably not the top of people's thoughts. So I'll leave it there. I can't think of any other my favourite things of living on an island. There's probably a lot more, but basically it's given me a family. It gave me a great job. It's given me the time to now do FPL as a job. So I owe a lot to Ireland. It kind of feels like home. Obviously I love England as well, but right now no massive plans to go back. So I think I've covered quite a lot there in this Q&A. Thanks once again for 100,000 subscribers. It truly is ridiculous that number has happened. And who knows where we can take it from. I think one thing you guys have given me is belief that I can keep taking it further and further. And maybe people do like watching for whatever reason it might be. Like I said at the start, I'm not going to keep doing these videos. I won't do massive amounts of Q&As, update videos and stuff like that. I'll be back to regular content from here on out. So thanks very much for subscribing. If you do want to check out Patreon, by the way, I've talked about it a few times. Patreon links are in the description below. Otherwise, let me know if there's any other questions I didn't get to. And yeah, I'll catch you again soon. Cheers all.